Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to be reviewing our boy Bin playing a bunch of different matchups in Champions Queue. So in my opinion, Bin is the best top laner in the world at the moment, but because there are just so many lane swaps at the moment at Worlds, we barely get to see him in action in the early game. So we're going to be breaking down his Champions Queue games, and for those of you who are unaware, Champs Queue is a in-house scrim pretty much with a bunch of different players from different teams, so a lot more tryout than solo queue. So I'll timestamp all the matchups down below, but we're going to be starting with Renekton versus Aurora. So if you're curious about his runes, Conquer it with Triumph. Legend Haste, of course, can't really use the attack speed that well from Alacrity onto this range champ. Last Stand with Second Wind and Revitalize. Now, this matchup is very difficult for pretty much any melee champion in the game versus Grasp Aurora, pretty much the strongest blind pick at the moment, so we're going to be seeing how he plays out this lane. So he walks in with the wave level 1, just in case she's cheesing from that bush, and we can see very shortly he plays extremely passive in the early stages of the game. So, for those of you who have seen my laning phase guide, you know when you verse a ranged champion, it's really important that you stay high HP from the early portion of the lane, so that when you get to level 3, get to level 4, and you do have all your abilities on your Bruiser champion, you actually have room to all in them, because Renekton level 1, very, very weak. You just have Q, so you can see he's mainly playing to bait out the Aurora Q, pick up CS if he can, but trying to stay and conserve as much HP as he possibly can, because once he's level 3, and he has E, W, and Q, so he can actually trade onto him, if he's half HP or a quarter by then, it's going to be a lot harder for him to do what he wants to do. So he's just picking up CS with Q, trying to bait out the Aurora Q and not lose any more HP than he needs to. So he's going to bleed a little bit of farm playing this way. But if you get to low HP, you're going to bleed the farm anyway. So he's giving up CS in the early game so that he has more space to CS at the later point of the lane and also trade onto her. So we can see Aurora stacked a nice 3-wave crash, and Ben is still around 80% HP. So he's done very well, drops that CS, doesn't want to take damage. Now you can see he wants CS, so I'll go back a little bit. You can see he wants to get the farm, but his top priority is baiting Aurora to use Q, because most Auroras go 2 points Q at level 3. So he's trying to click towards her or click towards a minion and then click backwards, trying to bait out the Aurora to use her Q so that he can dodge it. So successfully dodged it there, we can see. So now he has more space to CSE. As he gets level 3, you can see pre-moving on the level up, he E's forward before he even gets level 3 so that he can get the trade onto him at the same time. So autos gets the cannon, still level 2 E's. This E gets him level 3 as he's going to hit that caster so he can skill his W and get the empowered stun. Even the auto Q walks through her and gets the E2 damage as well. So really nice trade, and even though the trade is relatively even, pretty OP champ, but even though the trade's quite even, if you're trading evenly versus a ranged champion, most of the time it's going to benefit the melee champ because your all-in's going to be a lot stronger. So we can see the HP, Adam does have a bit of an advantage, but the melee champ, so Ben here, he's got second wind and Doran shield, so now he goes in, E, W, Q, auto, you can see he's constantly walking through to get the E2 onto him as well, just to get that little bit of extra damage as well. So now it's in a really good state for the lane, as he can play for an all-in very shortly. So he's just conserving HP, waiting for his abilities to come back up, and now he's going to go forward. So E's forward, double dashes straight away, holds on to his Fury, doesn't want to waste it, and then goes for the Empowered W. And we can see Conqueror vs Grasp, you are going to win these extended trades, so you can chase Adam down here and pick up a nice solo kill. So we'll go back for the kill. We can see it, conserving HP, waiting for his W and his E to come back up. And even though his Fury is pretty bad, if Renekton is below half HP, you stack Fury a lot faster. So he goes in here, EQ straight away. He wants to Q now while he's low Fury to stack up the Fury, do the damage and start the Q cooldown, but he wants to be holding that Fury for his W mainly. Auto E, and he stacks it way faster as he is below half, and he's just able to stick onto the Aurora, get that empowered W, and then just trade auto attacks as Conqueror versus Grasp. You are going to win these extended all-ins. So turned a really difficult matchup around, but you can see the main way he was able to play that level 3 onwards and actually get these trades was because he conserved all of his HP levels 1 to 2 when he had very little options in the game. So I don't actually think Adam left the game there, I'm hoping, but he's going to come back to lane. So we can see it. He TP's back straight away as the wave is bouncing back. He picked up null magic and boots. He's rushing mix. One thing I noticed when I went through pretty much every single game that been played in Champs Queue, he rushes tier 2 boots almost every single game, which is very interesting, but he definitely makes it work. So we can see wave is pushing out here. He's level 5, and then he's just able to get this nice easy gank from his jungler because there's no flash on the Aurora with a big wave bouncing back. So now the game is completely exploded in the favor of Bin just because of how he played that early lane. Moving on to our second matchup, we have Rumble playing up against Whippo's Renekton. Now, if you're curious about the runes, you might be if you spotted that keystone. He's actually taken Conqueror over the standard combat page. So he's taking Conqueror with Triumph, Haste, and Cutdown, with Bone Plating and Overgrowth as well. So this page is really good for extended all-ins and good versus tanky comps, especially if you verse a full tank like Cassante. It's quite good with the build where you go Leandries and Riftmaker. Really good in extended skirmishes and fights, and gives you kill through in lane. Can work versus tanky bruisers like Renekton also. Now, something Buppo did kind of nice level 1 here is he blocked the first D to deny a minion because he's full HP. You've got D shield second win. You might as well use your full HP in action to deny that minion. So nice little detail there. And he actually starts E because Ben overextends a little bit. He's able to force a big trade, but the bone plating comes in clutch here. So now he's going to be respecting. So in this matchup, it can be quite volatile, but because Gnar is pathing down and Vi's going up, Ben doesn't want to get dived, of course. Renekton with full fury with a Vi can one-shot you if you're 60% HP or even 70, so he does have to conserve his HP bar. But now Buppo did make the wave in a bit of an awkward state, but Renekton, it's not really as bad for him as it would be for a melee champion like Camille or Jax. He can just go 2 points in Q and force the wave in, so he is able to stabilize and get this wave in. And another benefit to your jungler pathing up, he can proxy, so uses the 2 point Q really well, proxies this wave, even proxies the next wave here, living that good jungle gap life, but now bases and comes back to lane. So he's got an item advantage, he's got Ruby and Longsword, and Ben knows there's going to be some action coming, so he wards the bush ahead of time. He knows as soon as Renekton comes back to lane, I am going to heavy trade on this guy, so I want to get a ward down just in case. Another benefit to that ward too is it will spot if Renekton wards there, as he wants to be calling up Skarner after Skarner does his 2 top camps. So pretty smart ward there, and we can see using the bush goes for a trade on Bwipo. Bwipo could have played this a bit better. He was 1 XP off level 5. He got level 5 just as the trade was ending, when he could have played it a little bit slower and got level 5 just before the trade began, but it's fine. So something you'll notice in this matchup, Rumble's cooldowns are shorter than Renekton, and Ben abuses that extremely well. So now, Renekton just used full combo onto Bin. The trade was pretty good. What Bwipo should do now is respect and wait for his W and E to come back up. But he goes up for the minion, and Bin abuse as well. My spells are back up before yours, so he goes for a nice cook trade with his heat, and then clicks backwards. So now, Renekton's spells are coming back up, but Bin is waiting for his Q, just playing it patient, not giving Renekton range. But now we can really see that Conquer in action, forces a big trade with his passive, even flashes onto him. If he got one more auto here, he probably could have chased him down for the kill after the flash, but because Bwipo responded very quickly, it's not going to be a solo, but still a really good trade regardless. So Skarner coming up now, looking for that dive, but Bwipo is not going to respect, of course. He's just going to play aggressive, so Jean is able to pick up a nice kill here. It actually been picked up the kill, so good by him. So you see yet again, tier 2 boots rush. Big fan of this, really good on champs like Rumble especially. Even picks up a Dark Seal as well, which did have a lot of payout in this game. So now, Renekton has no flash. He knows he's going to be trading aggressive on this timer, so he's got Jean hovering, and also he doesn't have flash as well. Renekton with no flash versus Rumble with no flash. Rumble's very easy to kill, so he's not just looking for a gank, he's also looking for a counter gank, because we can see Vi coming, but because we see this support gap as well, support's on the way, then Ben has to run this out. So they're just trying to disengage here. They can't fight 2v3, but really good use of Rumble ulti here. Clears the entire Kennen wave to stop them from diving. In theory, stops them diving. Bwipo still tries to force it, but there was an On hiding in the bush there, so they're able to kill. So pretty aggressive by him. Not knowing where support was, he took the gamble. Didn't pay off, but now we can see very shortly, his support got killed. We base, come back to lane. So this is where I really like to show the Conqueror in action, because now, my jungler's got stuff to do down bottom. It's a bit of a split map now. Vi is eating top camps, we're eating the bot camps, so he has to be quite careful. But he is feeling quite confident. With these tabbies, he's really strong. And we can see just how good Rumbles in an extended trade, especially with that Conqueror. So here, he's trying to get the pink. We saw that Renekton used W on the pink ward, so he's not going to let him come back into lane. Again, Bwipo should be a little bit more respectful, but because he has jungle top, he's willing to take the trade. But without W, it is just a little bit scary. So forces this big Conqueror trade with passive, cooks down the Renekton, even a little bit of cooking under tower at the end there. And now it's going to be quite tricky for that gang. So you can learn from the mistake Bwipo made here. If you want to get a jungle gank, the trades have to be good. If your jungler is ganking you from a position of weakness like after this trade, it's so much harder for your jungle to do their job than if Renekton just gave up maybe 5 minions and stayed full HP. probably more realistically 2 or 3 minions, and then the gank would be very easy. But now it's going to be quite difficult, and we can see why. Pops ulti, goes in, double dash to force onto him, and now he's kiting out the stun quite nicely, trying to space him out, drops the ulti, and then he's okay to be stunned as long as his Q is facing their direction as he gets stunned. So you can see he's stunned, but he's still cooking at the same time, and Conqueror is just performing him, fighting down with the full stack Conqueror and Rumble passive. Now, no abilities up, kiting back into the bush, turns back with his spells. You can see even though he's getting stunned, knocked back by Via Q, stunned by Renekton W, he's buffering his Q in a way where he's still cooking while CC'd, and now kiting out, no spells yet again, doesn't want to trade autos with Vi. So playing it nice and slow, goes back in when his W and Q's up, and he's able to turn this fight. So really close, really good understanding his limits, which is quite surprising. I doubt he takes Conqueror that often, it's pretty rare on Rumble, but really good understanding of not just the matchup, but playing around both junglers in this game as well. For our next matchup, we have Kennen up against a Gnar. Now, I was really interested in what Bin was cooking up with the Rune page and the item build. He went the standard AD on hit build with Blade of the Ruin King, but as for his runes, he went Grasp of the Undying, with Demolish, Bone Plating, and Overgrowth, with Alacrity and Cut Down. And you may be thinking, why do you take Bone Plating versus Gnar? Can't Gnar just proc it with Q? But as long as you use Bone Plating with intention, you are going to get value. So see very shortly, he stacks up his Grasp. The second it's ready to go, or even before it's ready to go, he is in perfect timing. As his auto was traveling, the Grasp came up, and we'll see Gnar, of course, hits him back, but he uses Bone Plating very well. So Gnar took second win, the second win Virgin versus the Bone Plating Chad. You can see it blocked 90 damage in that level 1 trade, so he's off to a really good start. So now just stacking up Grasp as much as he can, and then looking to proc it, but Gnar is respecting quite heavily, doesn't really want to trade autos up against Kennen, and Kennen's just looking for a 3-wave crash in this game. He wants to be getting good CS as well. It's quite hard to kill Gnar in the early game, so he's mainly trying to get perfect CS and balancing trading with that, but he does want to be abusing his level 2. So skills W level 2, stacks up his W on the wave, and he goes a little bit early. You don't want to be going on 4 stacks, as Gnar would probably respect on that timer. So he goes on 3 here, and we can see auto, chucks the empowered W. Now instead of Wing right now, he goes for that third auto, as your W active does stop your movement momentarily. So he gets the third auto first, and then procs W, so really good min-maxing of his damage there. So now wave 3 is here, he's just going to be crashing that in and proccing Grasp or Empowered Shuriken whenever he can, really trying to just value good trades and staying high HP, and chipping away at the Gnar while getting good farm. So 17 out of 19, good start to the lane, and now you can see he's not afraid to take a tower shot to poke Gnar under tower. So just trimming the wave a little bit, looking to poke Gnar every time Gnar goes for CS. And you can't really do much damage to tower now. Pre 5 minutes top tower is pretty much invincible. So he's mainly playing for that perfect farm and for trading. So 23 out of 25 is really good for early farming. He's already got a little bit of a lead over the Gnar. But this matchup's quite hard to get early solo kills in. So it's mainly going to be farming. And we can see getting his ward down as Vi is going to be coming top for her second path very shortly. Most of the time, if jungle clears down, they'll be going top around 4:15 to 4:30 for that second Grump spawn, so it's good to have your ward down to spot that timer. So now he's just stacking the wave here. Typically when you're pushing and wanting to poke your opponent under tower, you shouldn't just push 1 minion wave at a time. You should try to stack 2, but he's mainly trying to hard punish the Gnar for this Kennen minion here. So we can see the Cannon's going to crash tower very shortly, so he wants to be trimming the melees out so he has room to Q. If you touch this Kennen minion, I'm going to trade onto you. So he chucks his Q out, he's able to hard punish, get the stun down, and Gnar has to hop away. He's probably really scared of getting his base stopped here, because Kennen could have gotten the wave killed and stopped his base if he based here, so he has to run all the way back in, and Bin matches the recall. So we can see, already off to about a 14 CS gap, 13 CS gap, and yet again the tier 2 boots rush, the Bin special, but we can see he is getting a lot of value from it. In that last game, not only were the tabbies very tanky for him, but he was able to space very well, even on that melee champ, so he uses the movement speed a lot better than most other tops that you'll see. So now, back in lane, want to be forcing really hard every time he's gotten powered W or Grasp, so good use of his champ. Using the bush as well, waiting in the bush for the wave to settle, and then going for a trade if Kennen approaches. Empowered Shuriken gets the active down as well. So punishing every time Gnar tries to get XP. We can see as the minion is dying, Bin's already pre-moving towards him. If you want to get that XP or that minion, I'm going to be ready to punish you. So stacks the wave here. with the next one. Doesn't quite crash, I'm pretty sure. Push it a little bit faster than I would have liked to see, but he probably wanted to go get that ward down early. So mainly pushing to get his ward down on that Void Grub spawn. So this is a good placement for a ward. You don't really want to be warding just here or just here when Grubs is on the table, because here you can see showing this entrance and this one here, and also the entrance to Grubs. So perfect ward from him. And now he does have to respect a little bit on this timer, as he does have Mega Nut, but now that is expired, eing forward and looking to trade. So does the cool Kennen trick here. The bad Kennens will just throw Shuriken and pop active every time, but if your opponent has incentive to walk up, so if there's minions for him to kill, and or he wants to be trading onto or getting farm, you want to be spacing that out. So goes for the W now, spaced out with the empowered W Shuriken here. So I'll show it again. Empowered Shuriken clicks away, doesn't W straight away, waits briefly, and now goes up. So now the Gnar can't approach, as he would get stunned by Empowered W or Q. So he gets stunned in the end anyway, so a bit of a mistake by that guy. But Gnar is able to just constantly get poked every time he goes for farm, as Kennen does have slightly longer auto range. So 20 CS lead at this point. Really good start to the game, and just hard pushes this wave, and this is where the grass page really shows its value. So it goes for a demolish level 7 verse 6 and able to break that first plate. So just ease across the tower, abuses the attack speed and demolish. So already at 1 plate and 20 CS gap in the early lane. You can see Ben is just so pressuring to play against. He won't even let Gnar get 1 or 2 casters for free. He's punishing him for every single minion he's trying to get. So really nice by him. Even now there's 1 minion left and he does get that 1 extra auto. So really just accumulating any type of trading advantage he can get. So from this point, we can see a skirmish went well mid. We see Vi's pathing top. So we know they're most likely going to be doing Void Grub. So he hard pushes this wave so that he can look for it. And he couldn't really go for a demolish on this timer anyway, as Gnar does have Mega. So one shots a wave and then goes down. Really good understanding of, I'd say, what you're valuing in lane. This is more important in solo queue than competitive games, of course, but you don't really want to be helping your jungler and playing for grubs at a time that's bad for you. He doesn't want to go right now. His wave's in such a shitty spot if he does leave, so he one-shots the wave and then goes. So it's bad for Gnar to go and good for him to go. And he might have missed the Void Grub timer, let's just imagine. That's better in solo queue especially than rotating at a bad time and leaving your lane in a really bad spot. But he's able to get both in this game, really able to min-max both. And now hard forces onto the Vi, flashes onto him, leads with ulti, flash follows. He's able to actually get 2 stuns here, we can see. So good Kennen mastery and pick up that kill with his jungler. Instantly back to top the second he gets that kill and only misses 1 CS. So really good, I'd say, min-maxing from playing for his own lane, but also attacking the map as well. So one shots his cannon wave, bases. He doesn't want to miss the base, but you can see he's basing second every time. So his buy is always going to be bigger, and we can see Vamp Scepter and Recurve Bow with a pink as well. He knows he's going to be playing very aggressive on this timer, so picking up that extra vision control. So now we can see he's going to start to really lay on the pressure, wait out the Gnar Mega, of course. That's the only timer Gnar can really trade onto him, so he respects that one timer. I should say respects, but then he goes in straight away, of course. Now we can see him trying to catch the wave, and Gnar pretty good on him, trying to punish the Kennen wasted E, but Ben's movement was quite clean here, able to space out the Gnar W and spacing out Gnar ulti as well. So really hard for Gnar to do anything, has to E onto him, and his Mega expired, so now we can just chase him down the lane. So really nice there, bit of a weak Q there, but he's able to burn the flash, and now just hard push the wave, and you don't need a base here. So you don't really have that much gold, so you can stay and just constantly hit the tower. So now we can see purely from laning phase alone, purely 1v1. He even helped his team out a little bit too. He's able to grow a 30 CS lead and burn flash and 3 tower plates based on how he understands this matchup. Now, if you're curious about should I just take Grasp and Solo Q, I would advise against it. I'd say you can still win your lane with the Electrocute or the Airy build, but if you really love the AD on hit style, you can go this, but the AP build with Grasp isn't really that good, and the AD build in Solo Q is pretty weak, and even in this game, if you're curious how he does, he wasn't really that useful in the game. It looks like he does good later on with his team playing well, but he wasn't really that valuable despite that really good early lead. So it's just mainly good for lane, but it's still cool to see how he managed to grow such a big advantage 1v1 in this range versus range matchup. And for our final matchup, we have Renekton up against a Yone. So runes are really standard: Conqueror with Triumph, Haste, and Last Stand, Second Wind, and Revitalize. Now this is a pretty good matchup for Renekton, but I thought it'd be a good one to review as Yone is extremely overpowered at the moment. So we can see he's walking in. Kennen's a pretty good Yone, and he also has Grasp, which makes the laning a lot stronger for Yone, but Bin's still able to gain a big lead in the lane. So we can see straight away, auto Q on Renekton, really standard for Renekton mains to auto Q, but I still see a lot of Renektons mess up and walk up and just use Q. Make sure you're auto queuing to maximize your damage and also stack Fury. So here, his goal is to get push and abuse his level advantage and try to crash wave 3 or wave 4, depending on what happens. So he's trying to space out, not giving Kennen free Qs with Grasp while his Q's on cooldown, and he's going to be looking to abuse level 2 as well. So gets level 2, goes in straight away while the Yone Q is on cooldown. Now a lot of people feel because Yone Q cooldown is so short that it's hard to play around, which it is, but you can still play around it. He dashes in the second Yone commits Q, so he doesn't have Q up for this trade, and we can see he also plays around the W as well. So Yone commits W here, and he's not hitting him. He's waiting out that shield, and now auto Q and dashes away, disengages and already pre-moves before Yone uses Q3, so that he can dodge it and also gets in an extra auto attack too. So really nice level 2 trade there. Plays around the Yone Q, the cooldown, even though the cooldown is very short, playing around the W as well, and the Q3. So perfect trade. And now some you'll see here. Typically you want to be wave 3 crashing in this matchup, but because Yone's been hitting the wave a lot to stack Qs and also just trim it, the wave is pretty high up. So if you're undecided between wave 3 or wave 4 crashing, typically, not always the case, but if the wave's in the dead center like this, it can be good to slow it down and crash wave 4. So that's exactly what he does here. He's just really slowing down his push to not push wave 3 on accident. The worst case is that you slow push wave 3 a little bit too quickly and the wave gets stuck here, but you can see he's holding onto it very slow, milking out the last hits, and now none of the minions even hit towers. So good wave control by him, and that whole time a level 3 Renekton with high fury, because if you crash wave 3 here, Yone can farm it. Renekton's pretty bad at poking under tower, so Yone could be farming, but now he can just stand here between the wave and Yone and block him from stacking Q or getting last hit. So he can sit here for a whole extra wave, a whole 30 seconds, and stop Yone from picking up any free farm. So he grows a little bit of a CS gap. By doing that, we can see even after this wave, he's got a little bit of a gap. Actually, it's going to be pretty even. And something I was quite curious about is why he would do this. So he doesn't proxy the wave. He walks out here and blocks it. And if I had to guess, it's because he doesn't want the wave to reset back into the center. He wants the ability to stack it easily. It's hard to say, but the wave ends up being stuck here. So now it's still easy for him to maintain prio. So he comes back to lane, 3 CS gap, not the biggest, and commits W. You notice he doesn't auto W on this timer, because of course the empowered W does break the shield, tries to space out the Q, was unsuccessful, and then Nair commits W onto the shield. Don't want to waste time auto Wing when your W breaks the shield anyway, and then spaces out straight away, and now he knows he can't space it out, so he turns and just trades autos with him, so he's able to at least get a bit of damage down. So now trying to stack up Fury straight away, walks on. You can see he doesn't hit him when he's got his shield. He maintains his positioning so that when the shield expires, he can get a max damage trade onto him. So max range Q, dash away, ending the trade. It's a really nice way of playing around Yone W that I don't really see that often. So now, clicks backwards, respects the Yone E. He's about to tick level 5, so Yone's going to have to be careful on this timer. So commits Q there. I'm not a big fan of committing Q or committing Fury for CS, but because it's a Kennen minion, I will let it slide on this timer. So now just chilling here, waiting for his Q to come back up. Max range Q hit the wave at the same time. He's got the buy that he wants now. Again, his tier 2 boots, so he's going to be basing after crashing that wave and picking up his tabs. So TP's back straight away, ready to trade. If Yone didn't TP, you can one-shot this wave and he loses 6 XP. So Yone has to TP up to avoid losing anything. So now we can see Tabbies versus Berserker Greaves. So a bit of a 9 CS gap at the moment, so a little bit of a lead from those early trades. But now this is where the matchup does get a lot more difficult for Yone once Renekton has ulti. So we can see he's still trying to space out the Yone Qs, not giving him any free Q stacks or grass procs. We can see his little micro movements here. He's making it really hard for Yone to Q him. He's clicking towards him in a way that makes it tempting to try Q, but we can see he's already pre-juking away. But he's versus a good player, he's versus a world champ, so he's not just committing Q for no reason, so he's not getting a lot of free dodges onto him. So here again, click towards him, click away, trying to bait it out, but again, good player, not going to fall for that trick so easily. But now when Yone goes for Kennen, very likely he's going to be guarding it, so commits W. Empowered W, breaks the shield, forces a big trade, so nice trade there. keeping the wave here for as long as he can, because the longer the wave's here, the more you can trade onto the Yone. But if you let Yone push, for example, he's going to have the XP and minion gap, and if you push too fast, the wave will be under tower, so you can farm freely. So trying to keep the wave in the center, but he realized here, I can't really slow push this one anymore, so he one-shots the wave and goes and gets his great ward. Most likely, eats the fruit first, wards at the very back end of it. Again, spotting all 4 locations here. Such a nice ward, comes back to lane. So we've got a bit of an 11 CS gap here. Good ward, we got the fruit as well. Fruit gives Renekton Fury, so it's pretty nice to get on him. And now we can see it, really hard pressuring. So gonna let the wave reset back to even. He'll punish him and dodge the ulti, so we'll go back on this trade. So initially he was just okay to let Yone kill the wave and try to bring it back to the center so that he can trade. But we can see he saw an opportunity to dash forward and punish Yone as he's going for that minion and dash back. So Yone tries to punch with ulti, but he's already pre-dodging, manages to evade that ulti and pops ulti. He knows Yone is now overcommitted. He's used his ulti next to me. This fight is going to go for a long time, even though it might be hard to kill if he flashes. So commits ulti to guarantee a good trade. And he's walking behind him, blocking off his escape to the tower. Even though Yone is good in long trades, Conqueror versus Grasp, we know it's going to be good for us. And he manages to chunk him here. And now he knows, if Yone stays here, he's a free kill, so I know he's going to base even though I can't see him, so he's going to hard push the wave. But again, there's a lot of action going around Herald, but you'll notice the same thing as in the Kennen game. He's not going at a timer that's bad for him. If he left now, it's horrible for him, of course, so he fixes the wave and then he sees, alright, nothing's really happening anyway, I can play for myself. So goes here to proxy and play for this fight. Picks up a support, a assist on Alistair. Doesn't really matter, but we can see. So in the review here, in the lane, nothing really happened after this. It was just mid-game stuff. But we can see he's got a 18 CS gap already from this lane, based purely from 1v1, up against this good player who's able to assert his dominance in this matchup as well. Alright everyone, that's it for now. Hope you picked up a thing or two from watching our GOAT in action, and if there's any other player you'd like to see me review, feel free to let me know in the comments below, or a game from Worlds you'd like to see broken down. I'll be happy to do it, but other than that, I'll see you all next time.